It's... Welcome to Pop Culture Minefield Saturday Morning Fun Time. This is Zach's telling you to get those breakfast bowls ready because away we go.
I love that intro. Good morning and good afternoon, depending on what side of the country you're on, or globe. Like Purple is in England. It's it's 6 o'clock in the evening for her.
Good evening.
So we're like the Truman Show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So we're going to be talking about some interesting stuff today, and I think we should open with the whole Bill Murray thing because I think this is really stupid. I think it's really telling because everybody knows he's kind of a dick. And they're going to shut down a production because he is a dick, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, come on, man. When you hire him, you know what you're fucking getting. It's not like there aren't stories out there. Some are fun. Some are fucking belligerent. You know? I mean, he has bristled and gotten physical with even his best fucking friend, Harold Ramis. And they didn't talk for... was it 15, 20 years?
Close to the end of his death.
Yeah, all the way up until his fucking death. The shit between him and what's his name, Chevy Chase, because he knocked the shit out of him. He's, you know, some have called him a fucking bully, you know, but I think that he's just a guy that doesn't take shit off people and is cranky. And because I'm a cranky motherfucker. Some of you guys know that. I think.
How could you say such a thing?
Yeah, I think Fat Steven has really seen the crankiest side of me. And but he knows I love him. He knows it. And Steven is a very good friend of mine. He's my co-host with TGIF, and so I kind of identify with Bill Murray. I kind of get him. He makes sense. Oh, Shanatsky's here. What's up, buddy? Hi, Keely Chow.
Hey, Shanatsky.
Hey.
Yeah, I was just reading your message to me, Brandon.
Good. All my favorite people
And
are
I
here.
prefer it when you call me a dick in private and not live on the show.
Oh, you're so very welcome, Dick. We love you, Gary. We love you,
Today's Dick Award goes to Gerry again.
Yay.
I don't think he's ever lost that award.
Should we just start
Let's
calling
see.
you Richard now?
Well, it is my middle name. I have two middle names. I'm Irish Catholic. So my kids, and these are legal names. My children's legal names are Benjamin Brian James Cassell, Sean Patrick Gerry, because I refuse to name him Gary Cassell, and my daughter is Zoe Kirsten Moira Cassell. And then I'm Gerry Richard Patrick. My dad was Gerry Eugene Michael, and I don't really feel like going into the rest of my family because they're not as poetic in the way their names, because they're old timey. I mean, my grandmother's name is Irene, Ethel Irene. Sorry. I mean, you just don't see those kinds of names anymore. Ethel, isn't that the kind of alcohol?
No, you're thinking ethanol.
Ethanol.
Close enough.
Well,
Close
they used
enough.
to actually say that though, Shanatsky, back in the old days. What kind of gas did you want? And they'll go, just fill it up with ethyl. I'm serious. That was going on even when I was a kid. I remember it. And then they started changing the formulas for the gas, and it just became regular and leaded. And then eventually it's just regular and super now because they got rid of, they learned better ways of refining the fuels. And a lot of people don't know this. Mm-hmm. Did you know that gasoline is just a byproduct of fossil fuels, oil, when it's being processed?
Yep.
A lot of people don't know that. It's like one day somebody says, you know, all that liquid that we're getting from processing the oil, we ought to use it. We can maybe make some more money off that. And that's how gasoline came into use. That's actually during the process of kerosene, not kerosene, diesel.
Yep.
So do you know why exactly they start putting lead in gas at one point?
No, I've never learned that, and I am curious. Do you know?
No clue. Here's what I do remember.
Thanks for bringing it up, man.
Here's what I remember. As a kid, I do remember seeing leaded and unleaded. And I remember my grandfather's mower, which was back from the 60s, it took the leaded gasoline, whereas everything else, of course, became unleaded. But once leaded was gone, we had to do some extra
I
training.
have the answer now. Do you want the full answer?
Sure, let's have the answer.
Lead was used and or added to gasoline to help engines run more smoothly until other safer additives replaced it. And I just looked it up. I Googled it. The problem was that it was associated with heart and kidney disease. So they felt it was dangerous to keep it. So there we go.
There we go.
Thank you, NBC.
I just remember that.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Yeah. I got to do that.
They had like this huge
There you go. Sorry, Shanatsky. I had to play that.
Yeah, that's fine. They had a huge stupid trial over. I remember, was it the person on the defense because it was the gas company going. It's like lead doesn't do all these things. Lead doesn't make people saying I think he had actually like had himself sprayed with it and then went nuts like the next day.
Oh my god.
That sounds about right.
I love instant karma. You gotta love it. It's like I feel bad that no, I don't feel bad because he was a fucking idiot. He was an idiot. You know, play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. You know? God, fucking sprayed himself with lead.
Or I had himself say, I forget who it was, like one of these, like, because it's the whole thing of like, no, my product's safe. See, I think it's what the Simpsons was making fun of when they had the Crustios thing, and they had like Krusty eat one, and it's like, oh, it's terrible, it's eating the inside. Sir, that's a normal one.
Wow. Pretty much.
Wow.
But
Wow.
going back to
Wow.
You guys, we got to have more cowbell.
I got a fever.
No prescription. Small cowbell.
But let's dig into this because
Yes,
I saw this article last night and I caught I think it was Yellow Flash's video later about, and he nailed it. You know, it's like they bring this shit up. I don't understand how Hollywood thinks shit works. Let me put it to the side here. Here we go. Hold on. What did Low Spec say? By the way, hi, Low Spec. Put that back up, Martin. Jesus Christ. It made us more stupid and more violent worldwide, lead and gas. I wouldn't be surprised. But it's really funny. Every car that my dad owned, because we were cheap and poor, used unleaded. So let's see. Being Mortal production suspended due to complaint against Bill Murray for inappropriate behavior. They say this, and there's this long article. Look at this, you know, 4, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 paragraphs. And no mention of what it is.
Yes, I went looking to see what it is he's actually been accused of.
I can't find it anywhere.
Being touchy is what they've said. Inappropriate behavior, in quotations. So what he's been doing apparently is putting his hands on his female co-star. So he's, put his arm around her shoulders, or he's touched her hair, or pulled her ponytail, but in a comedic way. It says, it's very bizarre.
Well, I mean, if he's not touching her ass, or any of the no-no.
Yeah, I know. The touching a shoulder or an arm. How is that inappropriate? I mean, when you go to get somebody's attention, one of the things that we're always taught is to reach out and touch somebody on the arm or the shoulder to get their attention. this whole inappropriate thing, I really, it's dubious. It's dubious. I really don't trust this shit at all. And Seth Rogen working on the film, it's like you don't get much more woke than this cocksucker.
Between Seth Rogen and Aziz Ansari, and they're worried about Bill Murray.
Yeah, no shit.
I mean? Yeah,
James Franco.
The more woke a dude is, the more you need to watch that motherfucker, because I guarantee you they're hiding something. Jesus. You've got directors who are notoriously feminist in behavior with the films they make, have the worst reputations with women. James Cameron, for example.
Joss Whedon.
They love to play. They use that in order to mask who they are. I've never tried. When I meet a guy who claims to be a feminist, I immediately go, okay, watch this dude.
Yes.
He's going to be doing something.
Male feminists ring alarm bells. Absolutely.
Amen. Amen to that. So, look, man, this guy is cantankerous, older dude. He's 71 fucking years old. How threatened do you really feel by a 71-year-old man touching your shoulder?
Well, obviously, these bunch of douche noodles felt severely threatened enough to shut down the whole shooting match. Everything about this just screams, you're morons, you're weak, you're pathetic, you're dipshits, you're assholes.
I'm sorry, Brandon. I'm just not getting how you feel about this. How do you feel about it?
Yeah. Let me tell you how I really feel. These people are effing weak. They need to have their asses kicked for being such pansy asses. I mean, seriously, as you mentioned, as we've talked about on Twitter, they knew what they were getting with him. They know his history. It's not
he is notoriously cantankerous, late to sets, sometimes doesn't even show up at all. I think one of the most common things, and this is from friends of his, he shows up, we are all relieved. This guy is notoriously difficult to work with, and it's not a secret. It's not a Hollywood fucking secret. So just hearing this just makes me laugh at how pussified fucking Hollywood has become about everything. That
is there another level that's worse than being pussified? Because if there is, that would describe this.
Well, a lot of people would take offense to being called pussified. It's like, well, you're saying that women's vaginas are somehow resembling how the behavior of a weak person is. It's like, man, you're really digging for that one. Yeah. Pussified is just simply, weak ass. When I was a kid, we would use the word gay. And but I have so many gay friends now that I stopped using that. Primarily because I don't want them offended. I once offended a bunch of my gay friends. Where they're at a party I was playing at, my band, and the neighbors shut us down during the show. And all of a sudden, I jump up on a picnic table. It's an outdoor party. And I yell at the neighbor who complained and called the cops. And I said, "Are you happy now? FAGGOT." And I'm going to just say the word for historical reference. I'm going to say it for historical reference. I yelled, "You fucking faggot!" And my eyes went from the neighbor's house because you were standing in the doorway of the back of their house. I was yelling right at them. And then my eyes slowly drifted down to the picnic table right in front of me with all my gay friends like this, looking at me, all mouths open, eyes wide. I couldn't tell if it was terror or just like, what the fuck? And then I realized, oh, I said that word. Oh my God, I said, oh. And this is all in my head. I'm not doing this physically. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what? And I immediately tried to find a way to save the moment. And the only thing I could think of saying was, I meant that in not the gay way. And then I just realized, yeah, there's no saving this. And I just walked off the table and walked away and realized they're just going to either hate me or forgive me. And they forgave me because I'm still friends with them.
Well,
in fact, I suspect one of them actually watches this show regularly because he's always on the Twitter account, liking my Twitter posts.
I
Well,
keep
Gerry,
telling you, Gary, not gay enough. Not gay enough.
I try. I really do try to be gay.
That's the important thing. You're trying to be gay, and that's what matters.
It's like that friend that I believe watches the show and is always on our Twitter account. He was the one who threw the party. And I'm telling you, nobody throws a party like gay men. I'm telling you. Nobody throws a party like gay men. They are amazing parties. And one of the funniest ones was a banana eating contest.
Lord.
And who could eat the most banana in one bite? And I have no gag reflex, so I ate like the whole banana in one bite, smushing it. And my gay friend was like, "Are you sure you don't want to be gay?" I'm like, I'm pretty positive. I'm pretty positive. I just don't have a gag reflex, and it's got no point. There's no point to my having one. It's like if I were gay, it'd be great.
Well, let me do this real quick, if I may. Where I live, surprisingly, we have a fairly, let's say, a high proportion of gay people that live where I live, more so than any other part of the state that I live in. There is a bar that is the only gay bar, and this is what I will say. The funnest time I ever had singing karaoke, and the best music played in any of the bars back about 15 years ago, was at the gay bar, by far. And it helped if I had a female companion with me at the time, because they would leave me alone. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I will give you that. They can be a hell of a lot of fun. They know how to party.
I'm going to tell you, and you know what this person's, I can't say their name because I don't want to have anything blown back at him. He's like, he was sitting there with me. He goes, "Let me tell you something, Gary. You know how we are very successful at throwing parties? We never invite lesbians. They will bring a party down." And I'm like, "Really?" And they went, "Oh, have you ever hung out with lesbians?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have a few lesbian friends." "Are they fun?" And I went, "No, they're not." But it's not true now, because I have one friend, Dina. I partied with her a lot. She's a lot of fun. She's a big old flaming lesbian. Oh, Gary has no gag reflex. True story. See it? Oh, it's running in the banner. Look at that. That's news now. That's ticker material.
TV lied to me. There was a song with puppets. It was called "Everyone Loves a Lesbian." I guess that's not the case.
Well, basically, Carrie's stance was that a lot of the lesbians that he and I both knew back in Virginia, they were very extreme feminist, very anti-male, and had a tendency,
modern feminists,
wanting to spout off politics during a party. And that was what he was talking about, is they can bring a party down by doing that. Mm-hmm. And gay men just want to have fun. They just want to drink and get married and maybe try to get a straight guy to change. Because I thought, I tell you, man, it's
also gay men love beautiful women. They love women to look beautiful and fabulous.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I like that because, I would get mistaken because I was close friends with Carrie for being gay, and these women would come over and just hang on me, and then they would find out halfway through the party, "Oh, you're not," and then it was like, "Yeah, Score City, yes, that things are going to happen." So the best wingman I ever had was my friend Carrie Mundy. He was a good wingman.
You know what you should have done? You should have said you were gay, but you were thinking of changing.
Well, this is a whole different story, and it's true, 100%. You can ask Travis Smith. That when I was in college, I had to find a place because I broke up with my girlfriend, moved out, and one of the actors I was on stage with is named Travis. And he's like, "Oh, you can come live with me." And I went, "Oh, I'm not gay." He says, "Oh, even better, because you are not my type." I'm like, "What the fuck is that supposed to mean?" He goes, "I like my guys a little less hairy." Serious conversation really happened backstage. So I moved in with him that night, and we had a great time. But I had to pass the mustard with the landlord. And the landlord was a professor at Eastern Illinois University. and he only rented to gay men. So a bunch of my friends, Eric Hoover, Travis, I forget that one kid's name. They had to teach me how to act gay without being, what's the word I'm looking for?
Overly
Overdone.
flamboyant.
Overly flamboyant, because he'll smell it. He'll know I'm faking it. So they trained me how to be a bear, and the way I would talk, the things I would say. And I had to go have dinner with this guy, and he put his hand on my knee, and I was like freaking out, going, and Travis goes, "Don't worry, he does that with everybody. He's not going to do anything." And I'm like, okay. So passed mustard, fully moved in, was on the lease, and we were kicked out within 1 week because he showed up to put a new motor in the tub up on the roof, and had to go through our apartment to access that, and walked in it. And my then girlfriend, my daughter's mother, and I are both naked walking out of the room thinking we were alone. And we were sweaty and gross. And I'm like, I looked at him and he looked at me, and then he looked at her, and then he looked at me, and I went, yeah, I'm bi. He kicked us out. I wrote a whole screenplay based off of the incident called Alternative Housing. Because it was funny. We all lived together. We lived together 3 times. They were great roommates, including my cousin Erin. She lived with us too. But Gerry's in the closet. No, I am not parrothead. I'm out and proud. I am straight as fuck. But I love hanging out with gay people. I don't care. I love people. I've never hung out with trannies, although I made out with one without knowing it once, and that was down in New Orleans. And both my roommate and I made out with her, and then his best friend from Chicago was with her the rest of the night, and we found out that it was a shemale, as they call it, and we didn't tell him. We just let him keep making out with her. And then we ran out of the bar with him, and he's like, "What?" Because I gave her money to go put music in the jukebox, and we ran out, and we were laughing. And Tom, my roommate, goes, "So, what's it like making out with a dude?" But then it blew back on us, because he's like, "You made out with him too." And it's like, "Yeah, but not as long as you."
I keep telling you, Gerry, not gay enough.
Not gay enough.
That's your problem.
I am trying. But okay, enough of this shit. I love stretching the yarn with you guys, but we need to get back on track here. So what do we think is going to happen here with this Bill Murray story?
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, from what I'm reading in one of these articles, the film has been suspended indefinitely after a investigation. So if it's an investigation, this seems a lot more serious than just him putting his arm around somebody.
You think he grabbed an ass?
No idea.
I think so. I don't know. I think they're just being really, really sensitive. It's like you say, Bill Murray kind of has a history, and you just kind of take him for who he is, I would imagine. He's old school, isn't he? I think would be the best way to
Very
say
old
it.
school.
Question with that. I mean, does he have a history of any of this? Because
I've
never heard of.
I have
him
only
having
heard cantankerous, and I've read a lot about him. From the funny to the not very fucking nice. Like, he came in a mood and dug into Lucy Liu inappropriately. What he said to her, whether she's a good actor or not, that's unprofessional. Fucking comment on it to their face to say something like that. What he said. I think he should have apologized, but instead it got ugly, and they didn't want him back. McGee made up a story saying that he hit a wall right next to his head, and Bill Murray himself says that never happened. He's making that up. That didn't happen. But he freely admits, yeah, I was rude to Lucy Liu.
Yes, that was the Charlie's Angels, was it? When they were filming? Yeah.
And that was really the first time I think I had ever heard a negative story about him outside of the incident with Chevy Chase. And that incident was always the way I heard it or read about it, was that Chevy had said something disrespectful to, I think it was either Lorraine Newman or one of the other female people in the cast, but I think it was Lorraine. And Bill Murray felt like he needed to stand up for whoever got picked on, and gave him a poke for it and challenged him to fight. But Chevy can actually fight, so it wasn't like Bill Murray absolutely kicked his ass, but he did get the first punch in from what I've read. But they ended up amending things thanks to Harold Ramis. Because if you didn't hear the story, he made them get into a golf cart at the same time, and then he drove it insanely fast and made them talk, making Caddyshack. And they only did one scene together, and both of them were consummate professionals and did the scene together. And they didn't talk again for years, and apparently they just made amends one day, and they appeared together on several shows, including David Letterman. But I just think that Bill Murray's a cantankerous fucking old Irishman. Likes to drink, because he's a notoriously, it's known he's been drunk quite a few times on set, and so you're going to get bad behavior. You've had some amazing directors who are the same way. John Huston, probably one of the greatest directors in the history of Hollywood. Cantankerous fucking drunk.
Yeah, to me, this seems like he's had a altercation with the director, and the director's the one who's got it in for him, not the female co-stars. He was looking for an excuse to get rid of him.
Yeah, and so what they're doing is being very cuntish and doing something like this rather than being professional. I suspect that you may be very right in this, that they don't want to pay him severance, any percentage that they owe him from a contract. They want to do it this way, so he's made to look bad and doesn't get the money when they get rid of him.
Yep. I have a theory. This is the first time Aziz Ansari has directed a movie, right?
So, yeah, I cannot stand that guy. He is so unfunny.
I'm wondering if the studio or somebody is seeing the dailies and going, what the hell is this shit? And that's why the movie got shut down, and they're just, using Bill
this
Murray
as an excuse.
Yeah.
Look, anything's possible. I mean, until we get more news, it's what it is. I think that the investigation is going to find nothing, but the single most important thing about this story is Bill Murray has zero fucks to give about whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't think he gives one fucking shit. And he's like, I could quit working tomorrow. I only keep working because what the hell? I got nothing else to do. You can't get a hold of him, right? No, even his best friends can't get hold of him. Dan Aykroyd has known this guy for 50 years, and he still can't get direct hold of him. He has a toll-free number that's public. Anybody can call that number and leave a message for him. I'm not lying. Look it up. He has a toll-free number. Call, leave a message. If I'm interested, I'll get back in touch with you.
Maybe we're all doing something wrong.
He has zero fucks to give. And I think, it's funny. I don't know. I think that there is something really going on here, and I think Aziz is part of the problem. And I find it funny that Aziz sounds like disease.
You're about to say something, Stephen? Go ahead.
Yeah. I live not too far away from an area where Bill Murray owns a home. And he is kind of notorious for kind of just showing up in random places, like weddings. And I heard this one story where someone had a wedding and he just crashed it and showed up and didn't cleaned up afterwards and did the dishes and stuff.
I heard that because those Bill Murray stories are insane.
Yeah.
And I always find it funny how he walked up and ate somebody's French fry. Just walked by at McDonald's, grabbed some of their fries, ate it, and he goes, "Nobody will ever believe you," and walked away.
Would you believe somebody if they said, "Yeah, I just ran into Bill Murray at McDonald's and he took some of my fries." Yeah, right.
Whatever. Exactly. And I find that shit funny as hell. That all these things will happen. And Bill Murray just sort of floats through life like that, though. Because once again, he has zero fucks to give. He really doesn't care. He just wanders through life. I think
got that Ghostbuster money, man.
Pretty much, yeah.
Kind of reminds me of Jack Nicholson in that way. He just kind of does what he does and doesn't really care.
Well,
Purple. I enjoy having a good time.
There's always something going on.
That's so good.
It's not that I don't give a fuck. It's just that there are no fucks for me to give.
Wouldn't that be nice to be able to go through life, not having any of those types of stresses? I'm pretty sure he has other types of stresses, but on this front, being able to do what you like to do, what you're good at, and if somebody doesn't like you, who gives a shit? At the end of the day, it doesn't bother him, and if he doesn't like it, he'll just walk. I wouldn't be surprised if there's been stuff offered to him and he told them, "Nah, I don't like you," or something to that effect, and he just didn't do it. It wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, I've heard some of these stories about him doing some of these just random showing up things, and just he just likes to have. It's just like he likes to have fun, and if you're willing to have fun, he sounds like one of probably the best dudes to hang around and just to go be a wedding crasher. Hey-o!
You know what? That would have made that whole Nicolas Cage movie where Nicolas Cage did Nicolas Cage. Imagine it was like Bill Murray or Jack Nicholson playing Nicolas Cage.
That would actually be awesome.
Now, I will tell you that once again, it's 1 degree of separation between me and another person, because I'm close friends with Fahim Fazli, who's been on our show multiple times, and he, of course, was in the movie. It takes place in Afghanistan, but I think they shot it elsewhere.
Rock the Casbah?
Rock the Casbah. And so I have that 1 degree separation from Dan Aykroyd. But on top of it, and I'm trying to find it right now, there's a photo of my artwork in Dan Aykroyd's mouth, or in Bill Murray's mouth. On the set of that movie, he got a copy of the book from Fahim that I did the cover for, and he put it in his mouth. And I'm like, holy shit, Bill Murray's eating my artwork. That's awesome. Oh, here it is. I just found it. There it is. Open image, new tab.
Well, there's a man who really enjoys his artwork.
Yeah. There it is.
Holy hell.
We'll all be damned.
Just one of those weird things that Fahim tagged me on, and I'm like, "What is that? Bill Murray eating the cover? Oh my god, he's got my art in his mouth. That's awesome."
See, if that was me, I'd get that printed off in an 8x10 and try and get him to sign it.
Yeah, good luck on that one.
Uh-huh.
Congratulations, Gerry. You've made it into the freaking big leagues.
You know who you sound more like? You sound like the guy doing Jack Nicholson that was the alien dwarf on Space Invaders, the movie. That came out in like 89.
The Disney one?
I don't know if Disney produced that. All I know is it was a funny-ass fucking movie. They crash into this kid's barn.
Oh, yes.
And it's great. It's like one of those great films where you have a large amount of the cast are dwarves, and makeup. And I just fucking love that movie. And it felt very Space Invaders, and it felt very connected, structurally, visually to Critters. And as I recall, some people that worked on Critters worked on that film, and that's why.
It was a pretty funny movie. I do remember that one.
Season coming for an OG. Look, man, it's like I posted on Twitter last night. What's he guilty of? Being old, white, successful, and straight. That's what he's guilty of.
He's not only straight, he's super straight.
And that's it. Because he doesn't care, he can't be cancelled. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, with zero fucks to give, what do they expect to have happen? Because he can just retire from film and not give a shit. He's got what he wants. He likes to golf and watch fucking baseball.
You know who also is doing that? John Cleese. Like he's just flat out going, "I want reparations for the English speaking."
And they're both notoriously liberal politically. Both of them, John Cleese and Bill Murray.
Well, that doesn't surprise me from the time they're from. Yeah, they're from that time where pretty much everybody was.
Man, 95% of Irish Catholics are Democrats. But by today's standards, they would look conservative, like Hubert Humphrey. Because I always joke that I'm a Hubert Humphrey Republican. And people go, they don't understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'm actually a Democrat that got pushed so far over by their shifting that I look like I'm a right-wing conservative when I'm just old Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
Old school.
There's a lot of you out there like that. That is very, very true. And you know what? I welcome you.
Well, I welcome you too, Brandon. Oh, are we hitting each other? Are we hitting on each other? Oh my God, are we going to go out?
Would you
We are
like to
entering areas of gay. We need to go.
Hello, Brandon.
It's a good thing the wife doesn't watch this show.
My wife watches. My wife watches. Yours maybe not. Mine does. She'll sometimes hop into the chat when she's got time. And she's a hoot. Everybody loves her. I'm sorry. Papa Cotton just distracted me with one of his posts that shows titties. So,
Papa Cotton.
Everyone loves tits. Men love tits. Women love tits.
Women love
Children
tits.
love tits.
This is true.
It's like this disdain that we see from the woke left, showing anything feminine is bad. Femininity is bad. Everybody needs to be androgynous. Women need to be more masculine. Men need to be more feminine. It's fucking weird, dude. You know, that one story. Remember the article that went around showing two guys cuddling on a sofa?
Yeah, that keeps coming back around.
It's like, man, I've
every
been
few
around
weeks.
gay and straight men all my life. I've never seen straight men ever do that. The only thing I'm notorious for with my friends is I hug. When I have a close friendship, I hug them and I often kiss them on the top of their head because I'm taller than all my friends. I will hug and give a kiss to the top of the head because I'm very affectionate towards my friends. And nobody ever cuddled. That's just weird. Why would you say that? Making up shit like that doesn't make it true. You know, but they do believe in this thing of if you repeat something enough, people will believe it. Mm-hmm. And this old school leftist communist ideology, teaching that just keep repeating the lie and eventually people believe it. That's how communists took control, by repeating the lie, and eventually people believe it. And then next thing you know, 2 million people die. Because whenever that happens, it's almost inevitable. About 2 million people die when they take over a region.
Isn't this what Yuri Beznik, I forget his last name, Bezin was warning us about? The whole, the whole, like, you undermine the society by its core, and then you just let self-destruct upon itself, so you can basically destroy a country without firing a single bullet.
Pretty much.
Well, they do that, but in the end, they still execute people. They take them out and they kill them. If you remember, one of the worst was the Khmer Rouge and the killing fields, where they went out and they slaughtered 2 million fucking people over a period of weeks to months. By the way, Courtney, Richard Dreyfuss has a cantankerous story about Bill Murray getting in his face, telling him that he's not a very good actor. True story. It really happened. I'm a big fan of Richard Dreyfuss. I really am. It's like, and I don't think it was. No, it was not.
What about Bob?
It was What About Bob? That was it. And Bill Murray just shit all over him to his face. He was drunk when he did it. And Dreyfuss, go look it up. Dreyfuss is very blunt about what happened. And that's just one of your typical fucking drunk Bill Murray on set stories. You know?
I would imagine pretty much everybody who's worked with him will have some sort of story.
Yeah, I would not want to work with him. I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't.
There are several people that, because I work in film, that I've told if I had to work with them, I wouldn't work with them. I would stay away from them. And Bill Murray's one, Harrison Ford's the other. I started the Blade Runner fan club, and everybody's like, "Are you ever going to get an interview with Harrison Ford?" I went, "I'm not even going to fucking try now." And they're like, "Why?" I said, "I am terrified of that man because I know how cranky he can be with interviewers." So, no.
Yes, I've heard really negative things about him.
What's that?
It's
Steven. Okay.
So I was surprised that he did the documentary.
He'll show up and do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, I know what happened with Blade Runner 2049, why Ridley slipped from being director to being executive producer, and they brought in Denis Villeneuve. I know why. I know exactly when it happened. And it was while they were sitting there drinking, and the argument came back of Deckard being a replicant, and Harrison Ford wasn't going to fucking have that shit. And he was not going to do the fucking film if that was the angle they were going to go with. If they were going to make him a fucking replicant, he wanted no part of it. He's already said this numerous times. That's what led to the first fight in the first film between him and Ridley, to where they hardly talked. And so when it came up during the drinking time, they were still getting along. But Harrison said, "I'm not sure I'm going to do this." And everyone went, "Okay, Ridley, we can't do it the way you want to do it. We need Harrison to make this film work."
And then it failed anyways.
Yeah, well, it didn't fail. It did the exact same thing the first film did. And it'll eventually make its money back. And it's already done it through video on demand and video sales.
Yeah.
The problem is, that's not considered part of the box office. And I think that's criminal that the studios get away with that. That money needs to be reported and recorded as part of the box office, video on demand and purchases, of the hard copies like DVD, Blu-rays.
Yeah, your physical copies. They absolutely should.
When you cannot, because studios get away with this shit all the time, if you're not aware, that of not paying percentages to directors, actors, executive producers involved with films. And this is including Men in Black. Men in Black, according to the studio, is not a successful franchise. Do you buy that for a second? But they expect...
It happened with Star Wars. The guy that was in the Darth Vader suit, every year he get a letter saying that, by the way, Star Wars hasn't made any money. We're so sorry.
It's such bullshit. It is. It really is. Hi, Six. We get this shit from studios all the time, and they're just very mob-like in how they do business. They have two sets of books. And tell me that's not like the mafia, the book that you see publicly, and then what they're really making. And studios have gotten away with this shit for far too long, and it needs to change.
Yeah, it really does. And hey, Gary, guess what?
What?
I've got a clip on why you should not give a hug, and you won't get copyrighted for it. I promise you.
No claims.
Come on! You were talking all that good shit a second ago. Then I blew your fucking legs off. What the fuck? What's wrong, demigod? Just grow back your legs. Summon up your demons. Hit me. Fight me. Give me a hug. Really? Oh God, no! Time. I'm the Psalms boss, and tonight we're eating this blonde little wannabe demigod.
That's why you don't give him a hug.
That was fucking scary. Okay. I love the parody videos that they put out like that.
Yep.
Okay, people have actually researched and analyzed everything he did in the movie and determined that Groundhog Day is actually over 33 years long.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
It's true if you measure. And this is only for what we know, because there's a lot of time loops that we don't see. They just kind of jump and jump. And I think it would be closer to probably, what War Monkey is saying.
I thought it was like 100 years because that was a nice long number.
I just think that it may have gone on a lot longer than what we saw. Did I see a question? I thought I saw a question. Oh, no, I didn't.
Six had a question about your gag reflex, but that was...
There's really nothing interesting about it. It's just, it was discovered by my friend Carrie Mundy, a gay friend of mine, at a party because we were having a banana eating contest, and I downed a banana in one bite. And he's like, are you sure you don't want to be gay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm positive.
Gerry, are you single currently?
Yeah. No, I'm not. I am happily alone right now, but my wife is down in at our farm that she's building. I think she's putting the plumbing in and the wiring for electricity on the house this weekend. And eventually we'll all move down there because this is the temporary house still from the fire, and I feel really bad for Storyman Jack because he's going through this shit right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's nothing worse than having a fire because it upends your life. I lost just a ton of artwork and art prints. A lot of printed merchandise gone. All because of some idiot with fireworks and leaving a laptop plugged in on a bed. On the mattress, on a blanket. So it caught fire. It caught the fireworks on fire, and next thing you know, house is gone. And it was not me. I would never do that.
Damn.
That sucks.
My sister set the house on fire once. She had a stereo. She had a candle on it, and she didn't have any glass under the candle. She fell asleep, so it burnt through the candle, and then it set the stereo on fire, and then her room caught fire.
Damn. Yeah, I had my ex. She put candles in the upper part of the closet while cleaning, and left them burning, and left the house. And I woke to a house full of smoke, and realized that she had caught the closet on fire. And I put it out, mind you, but I'm like, if I hadn't woken up, and I started thinking, are you trying to murder me? And then I was trying to teach her how to parallel park, and she backed up and all of a sudden revved and pulled up onto the curb, and the parking meter where I was standing, I was in between the car and the parking meter, and I leapt up onto the car like you do when you play, what's that called? Leapfrog. I leapfrogged onto the back of the car, and I'm looking at her sitting straddled on the back corner of the trunk going, what the fuck? Are you trying to kill me? So I really did believe she was trying to kill me for a while.
Did she have insurance on you or something?
You don't always know. You don't know. Because people can actually open insurance accounts on you. And I started getting suspicious after the fire. The first time I laughed it off. And that second time, I'm like, yeah, I think I need to divorce you. And move away. Maybe have you thrown in jail for, some of the crimes you've been committing. Because she did. She committed a few crimes. And she spent some time in jail. And then was involved with the kidnapping and more time in jail. You know how it goes.
There was actually a guy who ended up getting arrested because he decided to call the insurance company. I was like, oh, yeah, if my wife dies like this, how much does the insurance pay out?
Yeah, what the fuck?
And then she died.
Exactly the way he asked. That's not suspicious at all. Yeah. I joke about that shit. I don't know if it was true or not, but I was suspicious. It really was really odd. Oh, hello. Are you wanting up here? Come on. There you go.
Oh,
Be in
puppy.
Daddy's arms. She wants
Was
Daddy.
she like, oh, Gerry, you're alive?
Well, she usually lays down at my feet, but after I talk for a little bit, she wants up because you're not paying attention to me.
What's her name?
Her name is Taylor.
Hi, Taylor. So cute.
Is the dog gay, Gerry?
She's gay for me.
That's good enough for me.
I gotta wipe my mouth. That's so gross. She smells like bacon strips because I fed her like 4 bacon strips when we started the show, making sure she'd be quiet. Right, but let's move to a couple other things. One, I wanted to talk about this show called Outer Range, and I don't know if anybody else is watching this show. It's got a great cast. I can't think of his name right now. Hold on, give me a second. I'll remember. Josh Brolin. It's got Imogen Poots. I don't know why she didn't change that name. What a weird fucking name. Even if you're in England, Poots sounds fucking weird.
I was going to say, which one, Imogen or Poots?
Yeah, Imogen Poots is from the UK.
Is it the Yellowstone guy? The writer guy? Or
no, Taylor's not involved with this. No.
It plays like a cross between Taylor Sheridan and David Lynch, but
it's like it is exactly like that. It's like David Lynch and Taylor Sheridan had a baby, and Rod Serling was somehow injected in there, because it is a really odd show, but I fucking love the crap out of this. And
I've added it to my list on your recommendation.
I just finished watching the 2 new episodes, and here's the promo for it. It is your typical rancher versus rancher kind of story, shit going on, but there's other shit going on, which involves a hole in the ground that may or may not have been created by Kronos when he ripped the earth, tore the universe. And we don't know if there's aliens, because they brought out aliens, but in the 3rd episode, there is this crazy scene, I'm getting goosebumps, where he is talking to Imogen Poots, and all of a sudden, when he goes to shake her hand to make a deal, the mountain behind her disappears. And then it reappears. And then the body that they tried to dispose of a guy who was accidentally murdered, one of the brothers of the other ranch, his body reappears on that fucking mountain trail, the trail going up that mountain. And I don't know what the fuck is going on, dude. And I just can't stop watching. I want to know what's going on. And I love the fact that Josh Brolin is once again just doing an impression of Tommy Lee Jones. He is absolutely just talking like Tommy Lee Jones. That's all he's doing. He's doing the same voice he did in Men in Black 4 or whatever the fuck that movie was.
Yeah.
Was it Joe once?
That scene that he had.
It.
3. It was the 3rd one.
Yeah.
Okay,
and I swear to God, that's all he's doing. Because when I hear him talk, all I hear is Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
And Josh Brolin is playing somebody that's probably about 10 to 15 years older than him. But he's doing a great job because Tommy Lee Jones is that age, and so it sounds right. And good God, the things that are happening, who this Imogen Poots character is, her name is Autumn on the show. Who the fuck she is and why she's there is a mystery. She has a similar history as he does with family, because some weird shit happened with his family, and we're getting an idea that some weird shit happened with her family, so they might be connected somehow. But I think the freakiest part is in the 2nd episode. I'm going to give one fucking thing away. I'm going to say one thing that happened in the show, because I hate doing this, but it was so awe-inspiring with what happens. And I can't tell you what happens. I can only say she pushed him in that fucking hole. For no fucking reason other than she was curious what would happen.
I see.
See, now I've got visions of 300.
And I am like, that's what the whole reminds me of, is the scene from Madness. This is Sparta.
This is the countryside.
Sparta.
City dweller, get Sparta out of here.
Look at her, watch her. Sparta.
The dog really wants to lick you in the mouth.
Sparta. Mm-hmm. She likes the smell of the chicken and potatoes I had for lunch.
Then what it sounds like from what you're describing is that basically she's like like she's from like another universe, like she's his counterpart.
Well, I can't tell you what happens because he goes into that hole and comes out the other side, and I don't want to tell you what happens. You got to see it for yourself. And everybody is there, including her, when he's on the other side. And I can't tell you what happens because it's really fucking bizarre. I was like sitting back going, "What the fuck?" And I'm telling you, man. This show, I don't know where it's going, but boy, I'm in for the ride. I bought the ticket. I'm going. I want to see where it's going.
Well,
this is outer range.
Yeah.
The only stuff I'm looking forward to seeing, I'm planning to see Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent and probably The Northman.
I love The Northman, and I wanted to talk about that film too because I gave it a good review. I call it a modern masterpiece. It is a retelling of the original story that inspired Hamlet. So when you watch it, you can't help but see similarities to anything related to Hamlet, including as Brandon. It was you, Brandon, that saw it and made the connection to.
No, I'm actually going to go
Lion
see
King?
it today.
Okay, who saw it and said Lion King?
Oh man, I don't remember seeing that.
I always thought The Lion King was being compared to Hamlet, or
Purple.
was it
You were in here. Who said that to us?
That was Martin.
Martin. Okay. Martin's in the back, so he's handling the chat. That was it. Yes, and I'm like, yeah, because part of the story of The Lion King was stolen straight out of Hamlet. In fact, Lion King is nothing but derivative material. There's nothing original about it. Kimba the White Lion and Hamlet.
Yep.
And you get Lion King. But The Northman has something that I almost wept. It was so wonderful. Is toxic masculinity. I need it more and more. And it was brimming with it, dripping, oozing. When a woman gets murdered by a dude and you feel justified, you're like, yeah. And that's toxic. And according to people today, it's toxic. And I'm like, no, that's just real storytelling, And so I tell people, go watch this fucking movie. It's worth it. If you like, because there's even a scene in it that really reminded me of not Hamlet, but Conan the Barbarian, the original with Schwarzenegger, the sword scene where he finds the sword underground after the wolves chase him underground. Yeah, and he thinks that guy is Crom, and he's going to take that sword. There's a very similar scene, and it's very spiritual. This film doesn't have ghosts in it like Hamlet did. What it does is it has, what do you call those, mind journeys, where you have visions.
Spirit journey?
Yeah, spirit journey. There you go. He has spiritual journeys.
It's quite
he
psychedelic.
Sees things. Yeah, it's very much like he had taken something, but I don't think that's inferred at all. He just has visions, and then of course there's magi in the story, people with magic that help with these journeys that are involved. And Bjork, the singer, it plays one of them, the blind one, and of course, what's his name? Jeez, I forgot his name. That plays the Green Goblin.
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. He plays the first one, and he's my favorite character. And then they have a third one. I can't explain about him. You just have to watch the movie and find out who he is and what he does.
I'm something of a Northman myself.
Now?
I'm just so glad that everybody enjoyed it. I was hoping that, once people started to see it after it had come out over in the UK, and I really wanted to talk about it with people, but I couldn't because of spoilers. But now that more and more people are starting to see it, and everybody who's seen it said it's such a good film, I'm absolutely thrilled.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Martin, can you put up War Monkey's comment again about Elon Musk? And I'm loving the shit out of Elon right now. He is fucking with so many people, fucking with Netflix. He's fucking with Twitter, and fucking with Twitter. You're fucking with Facebook too. People don't realize that by fucking with Twitter, because they're all in league. So he says that reminds me. Elon Musk tweeted out the question: what is the best in life. I laughed my fucking ass off when I saw it yesterday. Yeah, I love that line too. To see your enemies driven before you, and the lamentations of the women. You know,
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentations of the women.
Yep.
Or the
Did you see
housemaids in this case with Arnold.
Oh yeah, I love that movie. Did you by chance happen to see the post that Elon did with the quote unquote pregnant man that Apple put on their thing? And
yeah, I saw that because I commented on that. I'm like, you just lost a major portion of your subscriptions, and they put out two, one back to back, that one, and then the gay teen romance comedy that they put out, and I'm like, you know, look, man, there's a percentage across the board for your audience. You need to know the numbers of how many people of that group are you watching. So when you start losing a major portion, you are placating the smaller portion too much.
Yep.
Because, you know, I was always taught, you know, in college that the gay community was approximately about 1% to 5%, anywhere between there. But I've always said that there are those that are in the closet, so I accept anywhere closer to 5% to 8%. That is not enough to fucking do what they do at Netflix. It is not enough. Yep. That is too fucking much. They overdo it. And it's like, look, placate numerically. You placate numerically. If over 90% of your audience is heterosexual, then 90% of your entertainment should be heterosexual. I like having gay characters in stories because there are gay people in my life. So yeah, it makes sense. But when you make the show directed at just that, you know, if that's, you want to make gay entertainment, then make gay entertainment and make it a subsection of Netflix. Don't put it in the main area, because this is what's pissing Christians off is, and I get it. I'm an atheist. I'm a heathen, but they don't want to have to fucking forge through that. And there's no way to block it. They're forced to look at it. And so they're like, fuck it, I'm just leaving. And I don't care what anybody says. Elon gets it. That's bad business.
That it is.
The way it's going, there is going to be more gay people in fiction than there are actual gay people in real life.
Well, that's just it. It's already at that point. And that's why I'm saying, you know, you're making more entertainment for them than you are for the majority of your audience.
Yeah.
I just don't understand that kind of business thinking. It doesn't make any sense. It's
that's what happens.
Driven.
Yeah, that's what happens when you swallow the Kool-Aid of woke. You think everything has to be that, when in truth, very little to none of it needs to be that. And I haven't had Netflix in several years now, and I'm glad that I don't. And as much as I don't like seeing a company go belly up because of things, their own stupid shit is what's causing it. And I actually just shared a little snippet of Elon Musk's last tweet. It is hilariously bad. It's so bad, but yet it's it's so true. It's so true.
Yeah, Mr. Tickle Trunk, that is absolute bullshit. It is absolute bullshit. There's no fucking way. It just doesn't work that way.
If it was that high, we wouldn't probably.
But we all know the old saying, that's where you experiment in college, because that's all it is. You experiment, but you're not that. You know, you don't really come into true form until you're in your 20s anyway. Yeah. But
one SLs exist. One semester lesbians.
Oh, sure. I've met quite a few of them. When I was in the Army, I used to joke all the time. It's like, man, getting laid in the Army for me was easy. It's like even the lesbians would sleep with me because I was just funny. And if you can make a woman laugh, you're going to have sex. And I'm talking laugh. And somebody asked me like that, how do you do that? You know, get so many women. And I'm like, I'm funny. That's all I do. And I'm halfway good looking. And women, you know, because it's true, when my hair gets cut really short, I look like a lesbian. You need proof? I'll show you pictures. I really do look like, one of those like head shaved fucking lesbians. My head is cut to a crew cut. I really don't like it. I look like a lesbian.
Estrogen, what's that? Can you eat it?
Dude, I'm going to tell you, raising my daughter the way I did by myself, my estrogen levels increased, and it got bad. I had to start working out because I swear to God, man, if I started to talk about my daughter doing anything, I would start to cry. It was really embarrassing. So Zoe I can't get through this. I was very feminine when I was raising my daughter for the first 2 years, the baby years. And one of my best friends, an Oklahoma boy, says, "Yeah, this is my friend Gerry, the one I told you about that's all womanly on the inside." And I slugged him right in front of his girlfriend. Nice. I said, was that the womanly side or was that just me? He goes, he got that hurt look like, oh. Make a joke at my expense again, motherfucker. But what else do we want to talk about? Because Outer Range, absolutely, you got to go watch it. Let me go look at our thumbnail because I forget what the fuck we were saying.
I did post something in private.
You did?
Yeah.
I'm trying to see it. YouTube. Okay, let me open this, see what that is. All right, we can talk about that. That'd be nice. Before we talk about that, Moon Knight, I don't know why some people feel really negative about new Moon Knight. It's really good. I'm enjoying the shit out of it. I don't think that, episode 2 was kind of weak, but it's an introduction episode. It was all about introducing the female character. That's it. And the female character is right out of the comics. I think everything they're doing so far is straight out of the comics. I'm enjoying it. Every plot point they're using is from the comics. I don't think that they're overdoing it with the female. I don't think that he's a cuck when he's one character. He's unknown at this point. He isn't aware of what he's capable of, and he's slowly awakening to how dangerous he could be. The Steven character. Mark is, of course, he's already aware of who he is. I do suspect that, I'm not sure, this is just my theory. I think that they are not of a split mind. I think they are from alternate universes and are somehow connecting. And with the things going in with Marvel, with the multiverse of madness, I think that's one of the connections. They are not split minds. They are connected minds via the multiverse. And it's causing problems.
Myself, I'm just kind of burnt out on Marvel, so I'm at the point I don't care. Multiverse of whatever. I'm done. Yeah. Endgame was enough for me.
You're a cynical douche.
I haven't seen.
You're such a cynical douche. You're like that episode of South Park where just everybody, when they're talking, is pooping out of their mouths.
No, it's like if you're into it, that's fine. I'm just like, I don't feel.
I'm enjoying it because I'm a big fan of Moon Knight. Daredevil, Moon Knight were my two favorite Marvel characters.
Yeah, I'm still enjoying it. I've got to admit, I do have a few problems with it, but I think it's the best of what we've had in regards to what they've done with the Marvel TV shows. At least it's fun, whereas the other ones weren't that much fun to watch.
Yeah, this one is hitting more marks than because look, again, I'm going to say this: Kevin Feige shit the bed with Phase 4, absolutely fucked up, which is why he started promoting Phase 5 before Phase 4 launched. But we're starting to see a little pickup here, and Moon Knight and Spider-Man: No Way Home are the two big ones. They are really good, very enjoyable. But you get two projects out of all that they put out. That's still not a good percentage.
Yeah, it's a very low percentage. Yeah, and hey, Gerry, I've got something to share with you. There it is.
I saw that. I saw that, and it made me giggle. I'm like, Elon is a fucking king, dude. He's going after these woke motherfuckers. I cannot stand Bill Gates. One, he's a fucking thief. Two, he's a fucking liar and a cheater. And I don't like people like him. And he wants everybody to have his vegan healthy diet. It's like, look at that fucker.
I could go into Bill Gates, but that would probably get us kicked off YouTube, so I'm going to remain quiet.
But I'll go ahead and move us into this one now. Star Wars reportedly delays the Acolyte Disney Plus filming. What do you want to talk about with this one?
Well, that given the shakeup and everything else that's going delay in this particular case, probably means that it's being shoved to the back to be killed quietly.
Now,
because no one cares about the High Republic era. I think that's what.
The High Republic crap. Yeah.
Well, under Kathleen Kennedy is why they're not interested. If this came out with Lucas in charge, they'd be interested, but they automatically know that it's going to be woke as fuck if it's under Kathleen Kennedy, and they don't want it ruined and destroyed by her. So this is a major problem, and I think one of the things we're seeing, that's been rumored on the horizon, is that investors are interested in having Bob Iger back and getting rid of Bob Chapek.
Oh boy, yeah, let's put the
I'm
person
like,
that racked up the
Bob
bills
Iger is the one who let Kathleen do what she did. But at the same time, he also admitted to it in his book. And if he were to come back, would he change things? I don't know. Right now, and whatever her name is, the president of Disney is outspokenly woke, outspokenly feminist, outspokenly, she's an open lesbian about her life. So she is absolutely a mouthpiece for everything against fun things that men like. And the whole idea behind buying Star Wars was the same idea behind buying Marvel, because Disney knew they had the girls. Once they turned 12, they knew that girls still had a tendency of staying fans of Disney stuff. We've got the feminine side of the world. We need something that'll help us keep the boys. So they bought two male-centric properties, Star Wars and Marvel. Even though, yes, there are female fans of both. There are. But they are a minority.
But now we need to change them so they appeal to girls.
Well, that's what they did.
So they appeal to no one.
In an insane way. It's like you bought them specifically to retain the male audience, and instead you're pushing him to the side and just turning what you bought into same shit. And worse than that, you're betraying the families and going for adult material that is sexually oriented. And when I say sexually oriented, if you want things to be LGBT, whatever you are, that's sexually oriented. It's sexually oriented. And it's crazy. And Elon's spotted. And I'm not a big fan of DeSantis, but I'm happy with what he did. He did the smart thing.
Yeah. Well, the fact that Disney has had this for so long, I can understand why they got it originally, where Disney World was being put. There was nothing at the time, and now there's everything. But this needs to be an object lesson. If you're going to run a company that is to make money, don't poke the wrong bears, because those bears will eventually end up swiping at you. And I just did a quick search, and Disney.
This is the problem. You hit the nail on the head.
By the way, Gap, put that back up, Martin. Gap is saying exactly the same thing I just said.
Yeah,
exactly the same thing. This is the problem. You're putting sexually oriented things on programming that is meant for fucking children. And if you don't want to be called a fucking groomer, then stop it. Because it really is the behavior of a fucking groomer to do that. So
absolutely. But I'm glad they've taken him to task. And the whole thing with Disney, there's there's so many possibilities, but yet there's so, from a person on the outside looking in, we know so little about what's actually going to happen. Personally, I wouldn't die if Disney ceased to exist. I know it's not going to happen, but I wouldn't.
Well, it's sad because of what Walt created.
Yeah.
He created something that was meant for the entire family. He created a place that was affordable to anyone to get in and enjoy Disneyland or Disney World. It was designed for people to be going someplace and experience something they couldn't experience in their life and be able to afford it. And what is going on today? They're making it for the elite, the people that make tons of money. $6,000 for a weekend at the Star Cruiser thing. That is such an insult to everything that Walt Disney created.
Yeah, it absolutely is. The childless people that never grow up type people.
Well, we have heard time and again.
They don't like the family, period, these days.
Yeah, family is a bad thing. You know, feminine is a bad thing. Masculine is a bad thing.
Well, that's what they built their entire company on. You know, since the 50s, they were the family brand. You know, that was their entire shtick. You know, bring the family to Disney World or Disneyland and make some amazing memories. And it's
and the funny thing is, you know, early on, Disney was very much about making things that were for boys too. And they sort of stopped doing that. And I don't understand it, because there were heroic figures at Disney for years. And then they just sort of like got pushed to the back, and they focused on this thing. And then it became what it is, you know, before they bought Marvel. And it was mostly girl stuff. And then children and girl stuff. Children and girl stuff. And they bought Star Wars and Marvel to change that, and then didn't. Instead, they changed Star Wars and Marvel instead of changing what they were doing. And now we've got this shit coming in where you've got agenda-driven groups that are trying to bully from within and from outside, but mostly from within now.
Very true.
To where we got Bob Chapek, who used to be a corporate guy, bending a knee to these fucking people. And somebody's got to put a stop to it. And if you got to do it through tax dollars, fucking do it. Stop giving them free money. Because this is the thing you'll discover about agenda-driven people. They consider themselves or everything they're doing successful as long as they're making money. They don't consider the property as successful. It's them. As long as they are successful, the property is successful. Even though we know Alex Kurtzman has driven Star Trek into the ground. JJ and Kennedy drove Star Wars into the ground. They got their agenda going, and they made their money, so they think themselves successful. But they're not, because they destroyed the franchises. And
it isn't going to be until everything collapses around them. But by then, it's too late with everything.
Well, we need somebody smart, like we can see right now, because the pendulum is swinging back. So we've got Elon Musk as part of it. Shocked me. Really did. I had no idea he was anti-woke.
Hey, Gary, real quick, Purple has to go. So Purple,
you stayed longer than you were supposed to. I'm grateful for that, Purple.
I know. I had a great time just getting to chat with you guys. We had really, fantastic discussions going today. I loved it.
And that's really what these shows are about, because we're not just analyzing. It's our personal thoughts on these things with our experience. It's not just us, personal opinions. I think it's things. We don't do that. We actually get into it. We start talking about it, and we start bringing in our explanation as to why that doesn't work, and our working knowledge, because I work in the industries, and I know what works and what doesn't. And when I see these things fail, they fail. And Purple, I'm so grateful you were here for most of it. We're almost done. I think we'll probably go for another 20, 30 minutes. But I'm so thankful you came.
Thank you for having me. Seriously, I
Always.
love getting to join you guys. I will be in the chat, but I've got to jump off and finish my cleaning, because that's what I've been doing today. But thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
All right. Tidy up and have fun.
Take care. We'll see you.
That sounded suggestive, Gerry.
Well, I'm always suggestive. I'm a horrible human being. I'm surprised I haven't been reported. All right.
Gary's our very own Bill. Yes.
I'm Bill Murray.
Take
See
care,
approval.
guys.
Bye.
You're not drunk on set.
And you know, it's really funny I
Gerry.
said that. Yeah, I know. I'm not drunk. I'm never drunk. Because I stopped getting drunk when I was 35. I woke up with vomit all over me, a full trash can of vomit, and half hung off of a cot in a buddy's storeroom, because that's where I ended up that night. And I'm like, you know what? I'm getting too old for this shit. And I stopped. I'm like, I don't do that now. I just want to get a little buzzed. I like that feeling, that relaxed feeling, let loose a little bit. But I'm also, I'm notoriously a happy drunk. I'm not like Bill Murray or anybody in my family. Jesus, my family is just populated by fucking assholes when they get drunk. Me, on the other hand, I'm very cheerful, and I like to joke, and I like to be friends with people. And I don't know. I don't understand why I'm so different from the rest of my family with that. But and Dork is like that too, because he was talking about it, that he's a very cheerful drunk. It's when he gets high that I have trouble with him, because he just won't shut the fuck up.
By the way, Gerry, for what we were talking about before, I realized something. What we need to start doing, we need to start taking a thing from the SJW playbook, in that we need to, with fans, need to start getting our people into positions within these companies and gatekeep these motherfuckers out, because that's what they did to us. And we
I told people, I warned people back in the 2000s. These people are working their way up in management, and they're going to hire other people like them. I said, you better watch it. And because I was working in the comic industry, and I'm like, I'm seeing this shit. And I mean, I was seeing it. And I'm like, how are you guys not seeing what's going on here? You're turning a blind eye because you think, oh, they can't do anything. They told us they were coming for us. The woke, the social justice warriors out there. They warned us they were coming for us. We're coming for you and your Star Wars. We'll get you. And they did. And they did it in spades. And there's nobody to blame but us. Those of us that were supposed to be the gatekeepers, not doing what we're supposed to do. But sadly, we didn't start seeing a shift like that until really people like, a friend of mine, I just forgot his name, Comicsgate. Ethan Van Sciver. Ethan Van Sciver was really one of the first in the industry to start taking a stand publicly. I was in a very private group of comic professionals that involve some really big names. It's like, I can't say one of them. I can't say the name of any of them. It's a private group. It's Fight Club. We're not allowed to talk about it. But I said, that's the problem with this group, is that we're private. We need to stand up and be counted. And this is the problem with many people who hold what is considered today conservative values. Even though technically, like I said, I'm an old school Democrat, I just look conservative because of how far left people have shifted. And what happens is when you're quiet and you don't want to be known, and you're part of these secret conservative groups, nothing gets fixed. It gets talked about, but it doesn't get fixed. The way you fix it is standing up and being known. And that's why I'm really, I think what Ethan Van Sciver did was gutsy as fuck. At a period when all they want to do is cancel people, he stood up to be counted. And he's like, fuck you. I have zero fucks to give about what you think of me. And he stood up for values within the comic industry, having personal values, having some serious ethics, and stop with the agenda-driven crap. Just tell your stories. And, and I've said, Chuck Dixon is a prime example, as is my buddy Mike Barron. Good luck figuring out their politics by reading what they wrote. Because a good writer, you shouldn't know their politics, because they should be talking about everything. They should be showing both sides of a conversation. That's what a good writer does. Bad writers, you know exactly what the agenda is on their fucking stories 90% of the time.
I don't even need to read a Marvel comic to know exactly what its agenda is going to be, because they're all the same. They've mass manufactured the correct ideological response, and if you go off center at all, you're a heathen and must be destroyed. And there's no forgiveness, there's no coming back, there's no welcoming back into the fold. It is literally a system that's designed to kill itself. And behold, mainstream comics is finally getting into its death throes, and they're not happy. But they're dying, so at this point, fuck them.
Well, like I said, we're seeing the pendulum swing the other way now. I think it's a slow turn. We're in the turn. We're not in the swing. We're in the turn. And it depends on how well, because right now the poison pill that Twitter is trying to create, I don't think it's going to work. I think that a hostile takeover is about to take place with Elon Musk. I think it's going to be a classic corporate hostile takeover, and people are going to be fired, and those jobs are going to be immediately filled by people that Elon Musk already has planned to move in. I think YouTube is also something that he's looking at, even though he's not said anything. I think it is something he has to be looking at, because he's looking at all of the major social media sites. He has to be. And I think Twitter, if he made those changes, would make Facebook obsolete.
Oh, yeah.
The changes he wants to make. And because it's been my big complaint. You can't edit. You can't do certain things. You can't block people. You should be able to block people, really block them. You know, and I notoriously, and I've said it in our chats, that I don't interact with woke fucks. I don't. If they start to interact with me, I just shut the conversation down. I'm not going to talk to you about it, because I see you as an idiot, and I don't interact with idiots. I'm not going to try to convince you. I'm not going to argue with you. Why would I do that? My dad raised me, don't argue or try to make a point with anybody who's an idiot or is crazy. And 9 times out of 10, they're both. Because you can never make a point to somebody who's agenda driven. You just can't. Who are you arguing for?
It gets even worse. It gets even worse than that, because they've done studies on it. And if you prove someone wrong, the response most of the time will not be to accept your new information. It will actually further their extremism in their particular belief, because they can't cognitively accept the cognitism, so they literally block out that shit. So there literally is no talking and no reason.
Well, no, there never is any talking with somebody. Look, you can sit down with a Democrat, because Keith and I do this all the time. He makes points with me that yeah, that's a good one. That's a good point. And then I will make one with him. That's because we're cognitively normal. You know, we're able to learn. Whereas people who are agenda driven they're like your typical communists. They are sold on an ideology. It's a religion. They are zealots. And you cannot change a zealot. 90% of the time, if you go to war with a religious zealot, you have to kill them for a reason, because you can't turn them. There will always be a threat to peace. That's the scary thing about warfare, especially when it involves religion. And the current ideology we see in society is a religion. You don't believe me? Try to convince them that they're not, and watch how you get attacked. It's exactly the same it's the exact same thing you expect from somebody who has a very strong faith. You walk up to a Christian and try to sell them that God doesn't exist. Look how they react to you. Anybody, you do that to any religious person. Muslim, doesn't matter. Because Muslims still believe the exact same God as the Jewish God. It's just they believe it in a different way. And they're, in my opinion, very zealot-oriented in Islam. But I also know a lot of Muslims who are amazing people. Cameron, for example. I love Cameron. He's proven the point to me and to others many a time that there are people of faith that are reasonable, and they're not all religious zealots. And we got to watch that. When we become zealots for anything in a religious way, it becomes dangerous. And you see this with the current political system, with leftists in this country, hardcore liberals, because hardcore liberals are leftists, and hardcore leftists are socialists and or communists. And all a socialist is a soft communist. That's all they are. And they are selling an ideology. And anytime you see ideology being sold to you, you must reject it if you feel that it is threatening to the things you hold dear. Reject it. And the best way to reject in our society is to withhold your money. And tell me I'm wrong.
Gatekeep often, gatekeep hard.
Are you coming on to me, Schlutz? I sound like you're hitting on me.
Told you, not gay enough.
Not gay enough.
Not gay enough for me, Gary. I'm sorry.
Hey, yeah. Mr. Tickle Trunk gave us Canadian $5. Yeah. I'm personally, what the fuck is that?
De-radicalized.
Oh, hyphenate it, motherfucker. Put a hyphen between the D and the R. DE-R.
To actual alt-right. Yeah, he
radicalized to actual alt-righters. White identitarians. Yeah, doing the same with the far left is also possible. It just takes time. Yeah, I am extremely anti-religious right. I get into fights with some of my conservative friends. They're more Republican. And I remind them Barry Goldwater warned against Pat Robertson and his ilk getting their hooks into the Republican Party. And they did the same damage to the Republican Party that the far left has done to the Democratic Party. It's the same damage. I vote independent for a reason and refuse to be a Republican because I will not be counted with the religious right. Because the fight I often get into, and I'm not going to say any names, but it's a big comic book artist name, and we're friends. But he kind of took a shit at me. Not a shot, he took a shit at me over being an agnostic Catholic. But I'm a devout Catholic, but I'm agnostic. And he says, it's not bad enough that you're Catholic. And I went, what? And I said, well, you seem to always spout off that this is a Christian nation, but which version of Christ? Is it the Baptist version? Is it your typical Protestant version? Or is it your Catholic version? You seem to reject Catholics, so automatically I say, no fucking way do I want your side of the Christian faith taking over this country. Because then you're going to fucking shit all over people like myself. Graham Nolan, good Catholic. Graham and I are good friends. And we agree on all this stuff. He knows I'm agnostic, but he understands I'm very devout to the Catholic Church because they took care of me when I was a kid. I had a lot of tough times. My priest was a better father to me than my own father. And so the church gave me a lot. But going back, I want to thank Mr. Tickle Trunk for that. So I need to play a little something for you. Gosh, what should I play for you? Oh, okay. This is classic.
I'd buy that for $1.
And for the other one, I didn't see that. Put that back up, Martin, if you would. Thank you very much. I thought this was worth sending to you. You can debate fact and figures all day long, but you cannot debate opinions and belief. No, very true. And that's why, there are people who have similar and or shared opinions. And I attach myself to a lot of people who I don't completely agree with all the time, but I find I agree with when it comes to the important things. And some of my opinions are my personal opinions. And this is where guys like Keith and I make it so important. There's a difference between my personal opinion and my professional opinion. And when we're doing professional opinions, you'll find that I land more on what's appropriate for business, how to structure business, how to do business, how not to do business, how to not make money, and what they're doing to hurt their businesses. So those it really varies. So when I'm starting talking about Netflix and some of the decisions they're making as bad business, I'm clearly talking from professional opinion and how to do business and how not to, because I worked in marketing for 25 years. But I wanted to thank you for, where'd it go? Was it? I didn't see how much we had, Martin. You took it off screen.
5.
Was it $5? $5. Thank you, Dennis. Very good. Dennis, do I know you? I don't think I know you. You seem like a new name to the group. I will give you this.
Yeah, Dennis has been hanging around my channel the past few weeks, and yeah, very knowledgeable person.
Oh, so he followed you over. Thanks a lot, Dennis. I appreciate you following Brandon. Brandon's an awesome dude. I love him, and I like having him on our show. Well, let's see. What do we need to talk about now? I think we covered everything that I was supposed to. At this point, we can just talk about anything, whatever you guys feel like. Amber Turd.
Not a good week for her. I'm hoping and praying.
Yeah, the makeup company fucking wrecked her thing about makeup. You know, she is just one of the biggest phonies going, man. I don't know how anybody buys into her shit. I feel bad for what happened to Jason Momoa, but he should have fucking known better.
Yeah.
I think that it's the one thing that bugged me about Elon Musk too. You know.
Well, one of the rumors with it was that she slept with Jason. Like that's in the ways she was able to get the role in Aquaman. I mean, gold casting couch.
So the long and the veiny of it is you're going to.
Yeah,
basically.
Especially with Jason Momoa. Wouldn't it be funny though if he had a little tiny dick? That would be funny.
Okay, here's the thing you have to remember about Amber Heard, and I brought this up last night on another stream. One of her early movies was a movie called All the Boys Love Mandy Lane, where she was this very manipulative kind of character to both men and women, and there's a scene in it where she golds a guy into self-deleting. It turns out that movie was a documentary.
Was she in that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Yeah, that movie, it really tanked. It almost didn't even get a release. I think that it was not an... I'm sorry, baby. Oh, you went up? Yeah.
That's like Robert Blake in Lost Highway. It's almost a documentary at this point.
Yeah, it's look, that film was shelved at one point, and I don't think it was ever meant to be released. I think it ended up getting one of those direct-to-video releases. I don't think it ever saw a single showing in a theater because nobody wanted it. It was really bad, from what I heard. Everything I read from every critic that got a chance to get a preview of it, it's like it's really not very good. And but. Yeah, I guess if that was her character, then it sounds like a bit of a documentary.
There's a second part to the whole thing.
Okay.
When it goes to, is it easier to tell the truth or is it easier to lie? When you lie as many times and as much as she has, it eventually will come back to bite you in the ass, and it has come back to bite her hard through the trial. And I was hoping that JD would have spoken about it sooner, but I understand now why he didn't. If this was if there's gonna be any chance of success, he had to remain quiet. But now that it's all come out, you can, at least in my eyes, you can plainly see who was telling the truth, who is shitbag crazy. Johnny may have his own problems and he's not perfect and all the other stuff that goes with it, but he was abused, and you can tell.
Yeah, and that's really what it comes down to, because I just unfriended somebody because I thought they just attacked the shit out of Johnny Depp because he snorted coke and he had this lifestyle and he did these things, and I'm like, that doesn't refute the fact that he was abused. You just don't care. And
In
I
fact,
will
that
never
usually
lose
is
my
a sign
humanity.
Usually
No,
is a sign that you're being abused, that you go to substance abuse.
Well, I think that there was other stuff going, because look, I'm going to just say this about Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp was on my shit list for a long time because he didn't want to pay taxes in this country, so he went to France. And then the socialism really upped its game in France and started increasing taxes. And what does he do? He leaves France. And I'm like, what it is you want to hoard your film to yourself. That's really what it is. You don't give two shits about the country you live in and doing your part to help take care of the country you live in. So I always consider him kind of a shitheel for that.
Yep.
But does that mean I'm not going to be sympathetic to a guy who's in an abusive relationship? No, I don't like him politically, sociopolitically. But I still feel empathy towards anybody who went through that, because I've been in an abusive marriage. I saw what it's like.
You and me both.
My daughter's mother was she was a chronic, inveterate liar, and I mean beyond is beyond pathology. She was an inveterate fucking liar. She would lie just the way you and I breathe. And I ended up following her around one day. I took a day off from work because every day she would have these stories of shit that happened to her. I'm like, there's no fucking way. People, I've had crazy shit happen to me. And it still took weeks to months for shit to happen. Not every fucking day. So I took the day off and I took the work truck and I followed her around. Nothing happened to her. I went back to work, walked, because I lived literally right behind my office. Went out the back door of the office into the back door of my apartment. And she started telling me all the shit that happened to her that day. And I knew it was a fucking lie. And you think, oh, that's, I was probably like annoyed by that. No, it fucking broke my heart. Because I realized my wife was a pathological liar.
Mm-hmm.
She had mental problems. And, she had promised me, because the only reason why we reconciled was because she was in therapy. And taking medication is all a lie. It was all a lie. Everything is found out. That's what lying gets you, because you will be found out. It eventually unravels. And that's why liars are unsuccessful. And she's had a run here, Amber Heard. She has had a run here as a liar. And eventually the pendulum switches. And this is what's going to happen in this court case. We've all been waiting for it. What happened over there in the UK was a travesty of justice. A very corrupt court judge, very corrupt, clearly was already paid to judge against Johnny no matter what, and ignore the bullshit coming out of Amber Heard's mouth and her fucking posse. And there's a reason why her posse and all these people that are coming out pro her are being found out to be corrupt and playing fucking games. Hence that journalist that got busted taking notes from her. I need you to destroy these people online. I guarantee you one of them was Tug.
Yep.
What was even more crazy was they had one of her personal assistant for a couple of years, and she didn't even pay her that well. I think it was like maybe 35 grand, maybe even less than that. Like, she was making basically close to minimum wage. The reason the woman had the job was that it enabled her to be able to actually take care of her kid.
Yeah. Someone has to bang the
Someone has to bang the crazy.
Has to bang the crazy. I'm terrified. I'm terrified of any kind, and it's not right, because I believe that close to 90% of women have some sort of issues going on, and I think that when you have that much going on chemically in your body, including in your brain, that's inevitable. It's either emotional or something else. So I have a great deal of empathy for them, but at the same time, when I start seeing certain specific behaviors, honesty is a big thing. And Zoe, my daughter, will tell you when she does the show. I'm going to have her talk about it, how rough I was on her when it came to honesty. And she finally understood when she started dealing with her mother. And she was like, oh my God, that's why you were so strict on me about being honest. I went, yeah, because I didn't want you to ever suffer to that. I didn't want you to ever become like that, because it will ruin your life. Look at your mother now. Her life is over. She'll never have a good life because of the dishonesty that she has put out there with everybody. And it destroys you. It really does. It ruins you. It destroys relationships, friendships, family relationships. Dishonesty is just so destructive.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I mean, there was one black guy, now I won't go his name just to, I don't know, be somewhat tactful. Just habitual liar.
Are you talking about Keith?
No.
No.
God damn you, Gerry. Damn you to hell. But no, he would lie and like the stupidest things. Like he would say, like one day he would say he had a job and then he had gotten a job, fine, whatever. Then he would say like within a week that he'd gotten a raise, and then like the person was like grooming him. This were his exact fucking words, grooming him to like become like the vice manager of like whatever store he was supposedly working at. And this is all within like a fucking month. I'm like, that's not happening. You're broke, you're poor. I don't know why you're lying to me. You don't have to. I'd support you more if you weren't a lying piece of shit to me. But you are, so I can't trust the goddamn thing you're saying or doing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, he didn't understand. He just would smile. That's always to me like the big thing is like, you're fucking lying. Like he lied about that he got his girlfriend pregnant, because I had all these emotions going on, because this was before I realized that he was like how much of a lying piece of shit he was. And then I found out he didn't even have a girlfriend at the time. Like, why did you just fucking put me through this crap, you asshole? I can't trust anything. I can't trust any positive feelings I have for you, because I don't know if they're true or not.
Yep. That's the same problem that I have
Well,
with my ex.
it is. And what really happens with people, and it's not just men, women get into these toxic relationships with destructive, dishonest men. And I've seen them, and we become very, we're wounded animals, people that survive that kind of relationship. And it's a wound that never heals. So, because you become very skeptical of every person you have a relationship with, it's inevitable.
Like what Gerry doesn't want to cuddle anymore after sex.
It's true. I don't like it.
We are getting gayer. This is good.
Yeah, the gaydar just went completely through the roof.
It's because Steven's so damn hot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a compliment. Hey, Fat Steven, how you doing?
Yeah, the minute somebody says it, look, I'm going to tell you personally what happened to me. I lived in a little town called Lebanon, Missouri. If you're driving on I-44 and you sneeze, you'll miss that town. It's so fucking small. And I hated living there because of some of the mindsets of the people there. I found it to be a very, not a great place to try to build a career as an artist. But there was so much in my life, because I've always I've had a very entertaining life. I've worked with a lot of interesting, famous people. And I went to a party in Lebanon. Like I said, it's a small town. And I'm at the party and I was telling a few of my stories. And next day, my buddy who threw the party is like, oh man, after you left, people were calling you a big fucking liar and you're making up shit. I had to sit there and explain, no, you don't know Gerry. He's not from here. He's had a weird life and knows a lot of fucking people. And most of them didn't believe it. And I at first I was like, why would, because it just floored me. Like, why would anybody lie about that? But as I've learned, people fucking do that. Awesome one. They do it. They get out there and they fucking lie about their careers and they lie about who they are. I worked for the FBI. I had somebody like try to do a valor thing with me one day. Said, I went to your biography. It says that you served during the Gulf War. You weren't deployed during the war. No, I never said that. I said that I did serve. I got my ribbon. I got my fucking ribbon. What do you? And this guy was a Ranger dude. I said, look, man, I don't want to disrespect you because, I know you were deployed, but why would you fucking do that to somebody just because I didn't say I was deployed? So why would you fucking say that? Now, I did go to the Middle East, but the war was over when I got there. But my daughter asked me, what was your war stories? I said, I was at my unit getting drunk, mostly, making jokes.
See, I've had that problem now with Stolen Valor, but with the stories I tell throughout my courier life, right? Because when I say literally like around from the 6 to the 9 period, 9-year period, almost 9, I have been hit by 16 separate vehicles, and people are like, well, that doesn't seem logical. Have you ever been in rush hour traffic, not surrounded by metal? Let me tell you something. It's different because they don't experience that.
I just assumed you're just a shitty bicycle rider.
Yeah, that's it, Gary. Yeah. I just call everyone who hit me Gerry.
Door.
That's actually what happened. That's actually the last guy.
I'm assuming because that's
No. I'll tell the story. It was 9 o'clock in the morning. 9 in the morning. I just got my first package and I had to get it off by half an hour. I start speeding down one of the one-way streets. This guy opened his driver's side door into oncoming traffic, hit me. I ripped that hinge off the door, off the hinge, went over the door with my bike flying over from under me, over me from behind, chin first on a manhole cover, scraping down to the bone, lower gums gone because I had a piercing there, 2 teeth shattered, and blood everywhere across my chin. And my buddy's like, "What's you okay? You okay?" I'm like, "You got smoke?" And I'm just sitting there holding my chin and having a smoke. I told you, I walked to the hospital because I was all concussed, thinking I had to pay for the ambulance before I got there. So I'm there with a mangled bike, walking down the street at 10 o'clock, like 10:30, 9 to 10 in the morning when the ambulance finally left me. And people are looking at me going, and I'm looking down and going, "Yeah, it hurts. I just got hit. Yeah, it hurts." And I fell asleep in the hospital waiting to get stitched up, holding my chin. And you were telling me about the coagulation, right? And how my hand will get stuck. Yeah. So yeah, people don't. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know what coagulation or congealing means. But yeah, it's like you had some shitty luck, and
it's Jello.
I'm just a bad
coagulation is Jello.
Well, coagulation is blood, and congealing is what happens with Jello. But congealing also can take place in blood when blood becomes thick, and I've seen it happen, especially people with severe diabetes, because their blood is platelets and fucking sugar. When my blood sugar is at its highest at 13, doctor says, if I cut you right now, I could put your blood on my syrup or on my pancakes. It would taste awesome. And I went, you're fucking weird. I like you, but that's fucking weird.
Yeah, that is weird. I'd love to stick around longer, but I do have to get going.
Well, we need to end the show here, so if you want to stick around for the end, that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Amber turd.
Before we all go, let's have a little bit of news and information from Stephen on what he has covered this week. What's going on? What do you know? What's happening?
My hypothesis is that Ezra's probably and Amber are probably going to be out. Momoa doesn't want to deal with her as well. They're doing. I think Warner is falling and failing, and it's going to be an example for Marvel to see how it's going because of how Disney's handled. We also got Disney getting not punished, but what they shut the fuck up, Barry. What? I think the pendulum's starting to swing back.
Yeah, see, I've been talking about the pendulum this week, and because a lot of people don't know what that axiom means, that turn of phrase. It means that we have seen the arc for what they've done over the last decade, a little over a decade, to be honest with you, the damage done, and we're finally starting to see people tired of this shit and things having to change. And I believe that if we do see Bob Iger be brought back to Disney, and it is something that's a rumor going around that they're interested in bringing him back, we're going to see a different Bob Iger. Bob Iger is aware of his mistakes. They're in his book. He freely admitted to them. And I believe that he would try to do the right thing this time and fix what he did. But will it happen? I don't know. I have my doubts. Who wrote "Shut the fuck up, Barry"?
That's why I was wondering where the fuck that came from. Like, I just started talking and I said, "Shut the fuck up."
I was
Barry.
like, why did you say that? And then I saw the private chat, and I'm like, "Shut the fuck up, Barry." What the fuck, Shanatsky?
That's from Peacemaker. That's what Jason. That's why he says.
Oh!
Flashes like because it's like.
Okay.
Let's.
That's why it's in quotes, man.
That's why it's in quotes. I get it now.
I will say this as an opinion, though. We're with Amber and the Johnny Depp trial going
Personal
on right
opinion
now.
or professional opinion?
Both. We're watching the fall of the Me Too movement right here in this courtroom.
I believe that is happening, and I believe that the Me Poo movement is growing.
Trending. Yes, it is.
It's growing and trending. But before we leave, I want to thank everybody here in the panel. Deleted Scene Shanatsky, the anime guy, and thanks for popping in, Steven. I appreciate it, man. And of course, Purple was here. Who else was here that left? Did we have anybody else on the panel?
That was just Purple. Just Purple.
Just Purple. Love Purple. I'm so glad she's back and getting involved with our channel because she's so awesome. I joked yesterday. I said my future ex-wife, and here comes the second half of that joke. She became my second, or my future ex-wife because my current wife found out. Deanna. I miss Deanna. She's so awesome. She's down at the farm right now working. She's got her little baby sheep and they're getting bigger, enjoying the chickens. And she's what?
What did you guys think about the EU passing that social platforms need to be more restrictive into the censorship thing? That was just. Did you see that?
I don't care what the EU does. They're a fucking joke. I trust what we're doing and how we progress because we are the leader of the world in many ways. What happens here bleeds out into the world, like obesity.
But this comes.
I need to thank everybody because we got to end the show.
I'm sorry.
I want to thank you guys for being here, Purple for being here. I want to thank Awesome One, Brandon, the anime guy, is also in here. So hold on. You gave me guys on the panel too, Martin. You can skip those. I want to thank Six for being in the chat. She's always awesome in the chat. Dennis McCullough, thanks for following Brandon in here. Dr. Dragon, Gap Stargate's a lot of fun. Keely Chow, I didn't even catch it because I was paying attention to what we were doing. I missed a lot of the chat because I have Martin directing it. Thank you, Martin. And by the way, Martin, if there's anything in the chat you want me to pay attention to, break in verbally and let me know. Dude, you need or as you do with your accent, dude, you need to, how you speak. So Low Spec Linux Laptop was here. Monkey Jeebus, of course. Mr. Tickle Trunk, Parrot Head. PJO is here. That's, of course, Dork Knight's mom. Rogue Disney. T-Shirt. Oh, our good friend T-Shirted Historian was here. Don't forget he has a show this afternoon. Hop in and watch that. Dork Knight popped in for a few minutes. And, of course, the always awesome, the lovely Sherry was here. And the always horrifying War Monkey, because he's a war monkey, man. They're scary people.
War Monkey.
And, of course, our dear friend Zax was here. I want to thank all of you for being here. Purple, I'm glad you're in the chat. So I guess I can thank you because you're in the chat now. For the rest of the panel, thanks for being here. Past that, man, I hope you guys have a good weekend. I plan to have a very quiet one with my dog. It's just me and the dog hanging out. I like that. It's so peaceful here. And I can get artwork done because I have a ton of artwork to finish up. But Stephen, you and I probably need to chat a little bit before next week, but we can probably save that till Monday or Tuesday. It's up to you.
Okay. We can chat after this if you want.
You want to? Okay, we can talk after the show. But past that, we're out of here. I want to thank everybody, Tickle Trunk, and I think it was, what was his name? Joshua, that gave us a $5. And Dennis. It was Dennis. And Dennis became a member. Thank you, my friend.
Welcome, Dennis.
We're going to start a new membership show. I am. It's just me sitting down with coffee and telling fucked up stories or talking about shit going on that week. And the show will last as long as my cup of coffee. And this will be for members only. And then eventually it'll get posted. Well, Stephen had a really good idea of posting it like before this show on Saturdays. Have all the best of from the week and put it on just before the show. And I'm like, that's a good idea. I like that. Stephen's got great ideas, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And with that, I'm going to play our outro, and I got to find the right one. That's Scoop Zone. That is the right one. This is the right one. Okay, there we go. Have a good day.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Pop Culture Minefield. If you've enjoyed the show, please make sure to like, subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell icon for updates on our shows and channel. Also, please leave a comment, and we'd like to know what you thought of the episode, as well as letting us know if there's something you'd like us to cover in a future episode. Don't forget that you can become a member of Pop Culture Minefield now. Make sure to visit our membership page and merch store at popcultureminefield.com. You can always find Pop Culture Minefield on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch.
I still say this is the best outro theme of any of the YouTube shows.